This is the magical land of Rajasthan, abode of kings, domain of princes. Once upon a time, and for 1,000 years or more, these desert sands ran red with the blood of the mighty Rajput warriors. This was a land of myths, a land of legend, of fairy tale palaces and hilltop forts, of Maharajas weighed in gold, who commanded their dreams to become reality in a land of poverty, famine, and drought. The region of death, it was called, western boundary of the Rajput Empire, whose heroic clans fought and died to protect their desert kingdoms. To the north, the Kochawas of Amber, and here in Jodhpur, the Rathors, fearless horsemen of the desert, who pledged themselves to a code of chivalry and honor that presaged the medieval knights of Europe by 5 centuries. But it was from Europe that the British boxwallers came, last imperial governors of India, to rule this dry and dusty outpost, which was later to become the fairest jewel in all the empire. So formidable was the reputation of the ruling Maharajas that the British found it politic to share their colonial power. They entered into treaties of perpetual friendship, a unity of purpose, and together they ruled the princely states of Rajasthan. And on the playing fields of India's most prestigious school for princes, Mayo College, the royal Rajputs prospered and grew, as the clash of swords gave way to the gentler sounds of leather on willow.
I started my schooling in Mayo College in 1942. Napat actually joined later on when it became a public school. When it became a public school. Because in 43 it was a public school. And as I told you, we've been playing football together, games together. But we were from the rival houses. So whenever there used to be a competition, it used to be a competition of its own kind. Kill, die, do anything, but you must win the competition for your... Because we were divided into 2 colors, the reds and the greens. So I belonged to the reds, he belonged to the greens. So when we were on the field, you know, it was bloodshed.
Umaid Bhavan, the royal palace of Jodhpur. Built by some quirk of regal logic as a famine relief project. And in 1890, another famine project brought to Jodhpur a different world, a modern world, the railway.
the railway started here with bullock carts pulling their carriages, camels pulling the carriages. And when they found that that was very, very uneconomical, not practical, so they gave it up and invented the steam.
The miracle of the Maharaja's railway was, and still is, the only direct route from here to the state capital, Jaipur, 250 miles down the line. For the majority of the passengers, it'll be a journey on hard wooden seats in crowded compartments. For the wealthier passengers, the luxury of electric fans and freshly clean seats befitting the carriage of royalty.
We wish our passengers a happy and comfortable journey.
So for Swarup Singh, uncle to the Maharaja, a first-class seat on a 6-hour journey along the line of dreams. The railway cuts through a landscape cursed, according to legend, by a holy man, a hermit. Evicted from his hilltop home by the soldiers of the Maharaja, he condemned this land of princes to suffer drought and famine every 3rd year. And so it's been ever since.
This year, the situation is very, very serious. You see the green grass growing all around, but unfortunately there is no seed in it. Therefore it is a green famine, as I call it. There is no water in the tanks for the animals. A man can survive by walking and he can use his brain, but animal find it difficult without water in this arid zone of ours. So they are very hardy people and their requirements is very minimum. So most of the villages got quite a few people of different castes. And you know, caste system in India plays a very important role. And to run a society of a village, we have to have these caste systems put together. And the old order, which is now changing into a new socialistic order, people are finding it difficult to adjust in the new circumstances.
The plains of Mehta, in the desert principality of Marwar, some 25 miles from Jodhpur. Here 1,000 battles were waged for greed, for honor, and for passion, against Mughal emperors and Maratha warlords. The courage and spirit of the Rajput knew no equal. This is the fort of Maharaja of Assop, a landlord, a Thakur who was slain on the battlefield defending the honor of the Rajput clans 2 centuries ago. The memory of that day lies buried with Maharajas in the family mausoleum, a forgotten hero in the space between 2 stations. Today, in Merta city, once the battle headquarters of the Rajput army, there is a mela, a procession, a fair. But the celebration is of older heroes, epic heroes, whose exploits are detailed in the myths and legends of the ancient Hindu poets. But on the billboards and hoardings are the faces of the new heroes, the modern heroes of the cinema. They are the new living legends who trade in dreams, their romantic adventures fueling the casual chatter of a million roadside chai shops.
कल तो मैंने बहुत अच्छी पिक्चर देखी थी। बोल कौन सी पिक्चर? वो यार है ना जानी दुश्मन। बहुत अच्छी एक्टिंग और बहुत अच्छी शानदार पिक्चर है यार। डर लगता है यार वो इससे चलेगा, पिक्चर में चलेगा। इस पिक्चर में गाना बहुत बढ़िया है। वो गाना है ना, वो तेरे हाथों में पहना के चूड़ियाँ। कल देखेंगे यार इसको। गाने 2-3 बहुत टॉप है। मान तो अभी तो गाड़ी में भी टाइम है, अभी चाय तो पी के जा। क्या टाइम है, बस गाड़ी टाइम हो गया। अरे यार बस ये सब गड़बड़ हो गई। जाना यार, जा आजा सेठ साहब, एक पान तो लगा दो। इलायची सुपारी पेपरमेंट के माम का।
For this 12-year-old boy, the latest movie must take second place to the real business of the day, and an appointment with the train. At Merta Road Station, the day-tripping villagers gather for the arrival of the train. Their pockets mostly empty, their imaginations filled with the special magic of a small-town fair. With luck, Kailash will make some money entertaining them. He earns a living singing on the train.
मेरे पिताजी तो मुझे 1 महीना भर के छोड़ के मरे थे। हमारे बचपन में शादी कर देते हैं, छोटे तक में। इतना सा होगा तो उसकी शादी हो जाएगी। मतलब छोटा होता है ना, इसलिए कम पैसे लगते हैं हमारे शादी में। बड़ा होता है ना, जब बहुत पैसे लगते हैं। गाना पिक्चर में सीखता हूँ, 1-2 बार पिक्चर में चले जाते हैं, फिर वो देख लेते हैं कि ये गाना गाने लायक है, तो उस गाने को याद कर लेते हैं। लगता है ऐसे देखते हैं भाई ये हीरो है, तो हीरोइन के साथ प्यार करता है, ये लड़ाई दंगा करता है, दारू पीता है, तो ऐसे अपन भी मतलब दारू पियेंगे, ऐसे गाने गाएंगे, इसकी डिजाइन से गाड़ी में गाने गाएंगे, ये भी चढ़ता है गाड़ियों में, ऐसी एक्टिंग करेंगे, ये एक्टिंग करता है जैसे अपन भी करेंगे। बना लेते हैं, कभी 10 रुपए, कभी 20 रुपए, कभी 5 रुपए, कभी मिलता ही नहीं है कुछ। कभी बैठे बैठे ही मूड में जित जाते हैं, तो बैठे बैठे ही आ जाते हैं घर पे। कभी घर कुछ नहीं लाते हैं, जब घर के गालियाँ वालियाँ देके।
There was a time not so long ago when a member of the royal family like Swarup Singh would have travelled this route without question of payment. This, after all, was a royal train, owned, like the station, the line, and the people, by His Supreme Highness, the Maharaja. It was said that when the royal houses of Jodhpur and Jaipur were joined in marriage, the entire line was lit by torchlight, and at little stations like this, they would stop to feast and dance.
खोल दे इन्हें बिल्कुल खोल दे जो अच्छा
The train to Jaipur is like a traveling market. There's money to be made, in small amounts. Not though by the railway, since passenger services run at a loss. For many, like Kailash, ticketless travel is a way of life.
टीटी पीछे पड़ जाता है जब वो पीछे पीछे हम आगे आगे चलते हैं वो टीटी हमको पकड़ने करता है ना तो हम उसके हाथ नहीं आते हैं ऐसे कंपार्टमेंट पास पास में रहेंगे ना तो हम इधर के डिब्बे में इधर आ जाते हैं ऊपर चले जाते हैं ऊपर भागते हैं एक दो बार गिर भी गया ऊपर से छत पे
Whether you're singing songs or shining shoes, ticketless travel in India is still a crime. But policing a system which for many has become a social service is an all but impossible task, and the risks are high.
एक ने तो जम दिया था वो मैंने भी देखा था उसने कूद गया था वो गाड़ी में से बिल्कुल
आदमी उधर से ऐसे उठा था वो मर जाते हैं कट जाते हैं बगैर टिकट वाले गिर जाते हैं फिर मर जाते हैं
But for a 12-year-old boy with a wife in Jodhpur, the risk is worth taking. With a captive audience, Kailash begins his repertoire with the satirical Marwari folk song, Kalyug, the age of iron and breakdown. In the Hindu cycle of life, we are 5,000 years into Kalyug, 1 million to go.
राखी डोरारी बहन बना के पर्दे पाप गमावे ते तो डूब कनी मर जावो रे थोड़े धारे और बूढ़ा बाप ने रोटी ना देवे नी तो ठेराड़ मचावे बूढ़ा बाप ने रोटी ना देवे नी तो ठेराड़ मचावे मरिया बच्चे तो मुछ मंडावे नो मन का निकलावे ए तो माते पुका पाड़े रे छोड़े दाड़े आलियो खुश रहो रवाज रहो चाहे दिल्ली रहो चाहे अहमदाबाद रहो हर खुशी हर महफिल आपके लिए छोड़ दो चारना अठाना हमारे लिए आलो
The carriage takings of 1 rupee are safely hidden in the seam of his trousers. A successful beginning to the working day, and the promise of a cinema ticket in the Pink City, Jaipur. Next stop, Makrana, Marble Town. The marble quarries of Makrana are renowned throughout India. These quarries produced the marble for the legendary Taj Mahal, and until independence, this town and its people were governed for the Maharaja by a Thakur, a Hindu knight. Today, the Thakur has relinquished his feudal power for the commercial status of a quarry owner, but one who retains an emphatic sense of his place in history.
In 1608 exact, there were our forefathers, Rao Kalyan Malji. He came to Makrana, he fought with those fellows, and he conquered Makrana in 1608, and then he became the ruler of Makrana. Namaskar. Since then, we have been ruling. I have been the 16th generation of that family. Namaskar, sir. At present, we have got very good connections with the people, and because we were the rulers from olden times, so everybody respects us. Namaskar. Namaskar. The town in the olden times was very small, but now it has got a population of over 50,000. About 10 to 15,000 workers, they come from outside Makrana every day to work. They come by train, by buses, and walking also. Because the marble work is so much, still we require another 10,000 workers to come and help us. Marble business is all over India. We can even supply all over the world. But at present, we don't have the latest machinery. It cuts only 2 inches in one day. That is the handicap.
Once, Makrana's marble could only be found resting in the palaces of kings or the temples of the gods. Now, the middle classes help keep the order books full, and the Thakur's quarries are rarely still.
I have taken a contract in Bombay for ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and I have done the entire job for the temple. And at present, I have done some marble carved jali work, grilled work in Taj Mahal Hotel, Delhi. And that also looks very beautiful. And at present, I am working for Central Bank of India in Calcutta. It is, say, more than 50,000 square feet.
As the train pushes northward along this little line, the desert landscape is transformed into the great salt lake of Sambar, a miracle of nature, and the natural border between 2 ancient clans. In feudal Rajasthan, you cross this barren wasteland at your peril. Today, it's just an administrative change. We are leaving the northern railway system and entering the western. Ahead lies Fulera, biggest marshalling yard on the meter gauge network. The British had laid the foundations of what is now the greatest railway system in all Asia. For those with an aptitude for the new technology, the railways offered a career. In the security and order of the railway colony, whole communities were built to serve those who served the company. For the clerks, the guards, the engine drivers, and their families, the railway operated a system of mutual support which still survives. But for a retired engine driver in his 80th year, the old days, the pioneering days, were, for him at least, the golden years of the railway.
Oh, it's very different. It's the difference of chalk and cheese. A great difference. There's no jollification in the station. There's no company to begin with. There's nowhere to go. You don't know what to do with yourself. So it's dull, very dull, very dull. We got very good respect as drivers, without a doubt. I was earning about 300, 400 in those days. I had a servant, a cook, I had a sweeper, I had a waterman. And on a small salary, they were enjoying themselves. So was I enjoying myself. I could afford to give my cook a uniform every Christmas Day as a present. But now I cannot afford to give myself a present. I'm in about 7. In the olden days, oh, the whole jing-bang lot used to come. We used to all meet at the church here and go home together, and gassing and laughing and talking and moving about, then diverting to our place, homesteads. I cannot express that feeling in those days to now. Now it's absolutely gone down. I look back to those days as like a dream, just like a dream.
For 5 million people in India, that dream of security is now a reality. In a land where a man's caste had imprisoned him in his function, the railway brought a new independence, the independence of a regular wage. And on the railway platform at Fulera, another railway employee awaits the arrival of the Maruda Express. His name is O.P. Dixit, a hero of the system for 35 years, a traveling ticket inspector, a detective on the train.
From the very childhood of mine, I had been interested towards the detectiveness. And I played so many dramas and all these things in the nature of the detection. And when I became an adult, I joined the railways only with the idea that I may have a job of a detective. Then I was selected as a TT. And now I'm working as a chief ticket inspector over the railways, detecting the ticketless travelers, irregular ticket travelers, and cheaters who just generally cheat the public and the administration as well. I gave the highest earnings, and you will be surprised to know that I have also performed my duties in disguise. As for example, I may tell you that this time I'm in the hat. And now as for this thing, keeping like that, now I'm like that, become Pathan. Sometimes I had to disguise myself as a lady, sometimes as a farmer, and sometimes as a eunuch. Sometimes I disguised myself as a saint, you know. Used to look to the palm of the passengers. All right, good luck to you. Good bad luck to you. Your heart line says like that. And it means I came to the point. My aim had been always to recover the railway revenue and to bring to the books all sorts of culprits whom I could contact. As for example, I enter some compartment. First of all, I will have a look to all the passengers and will detect with the psychology. Whosoever is the culprit will never have eye to eye with the TT. This is the main thing. And when I think that yes, he is escaping his eyesight, right, I will gaze towards that and then find out and have a reading. By the way, I will just check 2 tickets, your ticket please. Hurry up and reach to that same gentleman so that he may not escape away by that time.